Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, was in Homabay County today. The president attended the Thanksgiving ceremony for Raymond Omolo following his appointment as the principal secretary for Interior. The truth of the matter is that when William Ruto unveiled his cabinet, he named one Luo, Eliud Owalo, to the cabinet. The appointment of Eliud Owalo did not surprise Kenyans. Of course, most people had expected William Ruto to appoint, for example, the former governor for Migori, but he appointed Owalo for reasons which are best known to him. It was not surprising because Luos really were not shareholders. But when William Ruto appointed or named his permanent secretaries, and he appointed Raymond Omolo as the principal secretary for Interior, the entire country was shocked for several reasons. Number one, the Ministry of Interior is actually the engine of government. So how would Ruto entrust a Luo with that position? But for those who've been following Raymond Omolo's politics, then it was not surprising, because this is a gentleman who was crucial in popularizing TNA in Luo Nyanza. Then when the handshake happened, he stuck with William Ruto, and he did a lot. In fact, someone was telling me that initially Ruto wanted to appoint him to the cabinet, but he said, no, I'm not. I want him in government. You know, the guy is very sharp, for those who might not know. And at some point when William Ruto was facing a serious challenge, this is the gentleman who actually funded most of UD activities in Nyanza. And that's why if you listened to someone like Osoro's speech today, he was also very categorical that this guy would give them fuel. But let us not focus on that. I want us to look at two things in this particular visit. I want us to focus on the issues which emerged ahead of this particular visit. Number two, I want us to look at the objective of William Ruto's visit to Homabay. Before you do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And of course, you can always support the channel through buying me coffee on the numbers on your screen. A cup of coffee is normally around 200 bob, but you can do more on the numbers you are seeing on your screen there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us dive in. Now, ahead of this visit by William Ruto, there were a lot of activities in Homabay yesterday. You could clearly see the need by the organizers to have as many people as possible to attend the event. In fact, if there's one thing which the people of Homabay enjoyed for the last 3 days, is money. Today, several youths in Kisumu went to Homabay. You are given 3,000, you board a bus to Homabay. You are given 3,000, you are given a t-shirt, you board a bus to Homabay. In Homabay, you saw how they were being given money yesterday. So which means to Kenya Kwanza, this was a serious political event. Because if it was just a matter of Thanksgiving for Raymond Omolo would have just been a Thanksgiving. Then, the way Eliud Owalo arrived and Kenya Kwanza clearly showed you that these guys wanted to show the entire country or the Luo nation where power is. But there were two issues. There were actually 4 issues. The first issue ahead of this event was the Sondu clashes. For those who've been following the politics of Nyanza, the issue of Sondu clashes has been the top of each and every political discussion. Why? Because there is a strong belief that someone somewhere in Rift Valley mobilized the Kalenjin youths to come to Sondu to attack the Luos. And there is this photo where a gentleman is seen meeting with a group of youths in a residence somewhere in Kericho. Then, later on, the same gentleman is seen with the same youths in Sondo. You see that petrol station where they are seated? That's actually in Sondo. And this is the same group who walked around with arrows, and there was a strong feeling that most of these people actually dropped using police vehicle. And who is the principal secretary for Interior? Ray Omolo. And that's why it was a big issue that Raymond Omolo was actually organizing as Thanksgiving and mobilizing people to attend while his own people in Sondo were suffering. So that was a big issue. And that's why earlier today, Professor Kithure Kindiki had to go to Sondo first before going to Homabay, because assuming he had not gone to Sondo, what message do you think they would have told people there? So that was the first issue, the issue of Sondo. I don't know how it's going to end, but that issue of Sondo is definitely going to shape the politics. Even my friend Mark Namita alluded to it in his speech in Homabay. The second issue which has been there is the issue of mandamanos. You know, William Ruto was coming to Homabay at a time when Raila Odinga had actually announced a 3-day mandamano beginning on Wednesday. William Ruto is very categorical that mandamanos will not be allowed. The people he was addressing are actually the same people who normally go for these mandamanos. So the issue of mandamano was there, and it was expected that in his speech, William Ruto was going to address it. And indeed, he addressed it. Then, ahead of this visit, there was also the alleged visit to Homabay by Raila Amolo Odinga. That Raila Odinga was going to hold a rally in Kisumu. Then from Kisumu, he was going to go to Katito, Kindu Bay, Ahero, Katito, Kindu Bay, Kindu Bay, Adiedo, Homabay. And for me, I don't think that was the truth. The truth of the matter is that my friend, the MCA for Market Milimani Ward, Seth Adwinyang, who wants to run for the member of parliament for Kisumu East, I'm actually praying for him, was organizing an event somewhere in Molen. And he's the one who made this announcement that for them as ODM, they will be holding another political rally. So those who support UDA felt or thought that it was about Raila Odinga going to Homabay. So the alleged visit also played. And that's why those who are in Homabay will confirm to you that Homabay yesterday at night was like a military camp. There were police, there were jeshi everywhere. The third issue which was on the table was the leadership from Homabay. Homabay is the only county where almost all elected leaders were elected on ODM ticket. Almost all of them. So were they going to be allowed to attend this event? Were they invited? So according to the information I have, is that most of them did not attend because they were never involved in the planning of this particular event. I didn't even see the member of parliament for Karachuonyo. I think he was there, Adipo Kwome. But for me, I don't understand why the guy actually also decided to miss the event. So I think the entire leadership from Homabay agreed to boycott that event. But what was the objective of this particular visit? The first objective, in my view, is that William Ruto went to Homabay to actually declare to the Luo nation that is planning to retire Raila Amolo Odinga to Bondo. And indeed, he announced it through Bondo Member of Parliament, Honorable Ochanda. If you paid very close attention to Ochanda's statement, he was like, hii kitu tumetafuta, we've looked for it, imekata, imehenda. So Raila Odinga should now let the Luo nation identify someone to move on. So I think that was the main message and the main objective of this particular visit. The second objective, which in my view I've always opined here, is that William Ruto is crafting his 2027 political strategy already. Let me just take you 2 or 3 days ago. 2 days, for the past 2 days, 3 days now, William Ruto was in mountain. Why do you think William Ruto was in the mountain? The truth of the matter is that William Ruto was in the mountain as a form of response to the mandamanos. When Kenyans demonstrated, and there were demonstrations even in the mountain, William Ruto was shocked. So he went to the mountain to connect or to link the demonstrations to Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. In fact, I was reading a comment by someone that when William Ruto went to, I think was it Nakuru, where he launched some roads, that those roads were actually launched previously by Uhuru Kenyatta, and that William Ruto just called around to identify a road where he could go to talk to the people. And exactly that's what happened. Now, William Ruto's strategy is simple. William Ruto is keen on holding onto the mountain, but he's also interested in the Luo nation, in the hope that should Raila Odinga not be on the ballot, then the Luo nation votes will go to him. And that's why he's giving the prominence to Ray Omolo. The truth of the matter is that Ray Omolo is not a politician as such. Today, you remove Ray Omolo from the Ministry of Interior, take him to the Department of Fisheries, that will be the end of him. Because there have been so many permanent secretaries before him. But the truth is, William Ruto is looking for the 2027 politics. In case the mountain will not vote for him, or in case Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot, and then he will endorse Kalonzo Musyoka, for example, who will the Luo nation vote for? He wants to come to the Luos and sell to them his policies. In fact, the only challenge William Ruto is facing is that the Luos are not like the people or the mountain. You know, in the mountain, William Ruto would go with rebels. Like today, he had 6 rebels for Nyanza. He would go with them, and they'll attack Uhuru Kenyatta. Today, even Rigiji spoke without mentioning Raila Odinga. For the first time, without mentioning Raila Odinga. Even the leaders who spoke, none of them uttered the word Raila Odinga at this particular event. So which means the strategy he used in the mountain cannot work here in Nyanza. But he's keen on the 2027 politics. And number 3, if you ask me, Ruto is also on a mission to try and slow down demonstrations. If you paid very close attention to his speech, he was trying to emotionally appeal to the people of Nyanza against Manamano. That I appointed Ray Omolo, I appointed Ogola as the head of the military. You know, for me, I'll do everything. I've been in Homabay 4 times. I've been with you guys. You know, Tinga, I was his deputy party leader. You know, basically, he wants to try to slow down the Mandamanos. And lastly, I think William Ruto also unveiled his team for 2027, his Nyanza team. And if you paid very close attention to Felix Jalango, he kind of declared his defection to UDA party. Karoli is already in UDA party. So I think these are the people William Ruto will attempt, in my view, to use ahead of 2027 in Nyanza. But I have a question for you. How would you rate Nyanza leaders who attended this event today? Because for me, almost all of them failed to deliver any tangible request to the president. Ojenda spoke. Ojenda talked of the road from Mamboleo to Moroni. Uhuru Kenyatta launched that road. Since campaign up to now, that road is being worked on. I would have expected Ojenda, for example, my senator, to tell William Ruto about another road, another project. He also talked of Soin Dam. Now, when Uhuru Kenyatta left, Soin Dam was already in process. Tender had already been issued. Then, which development have they been going to look for from State House? David Ochieng came prepared. His speech was very short, very precise on specific issues. The recruitment of teachers. 50,000 teachers are supposed to be recruited. In this country, there's a belief that in that situation, out of the 50, maybe 40,000 of them will be from Kalenjin Nation. So he was appealing that, let's have it here. But I want you guys to pay very close attention to the speech by the senator for Kericho. Now, that's a good speech. And he addressed the real issues. I don't know what you think. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye bye.